BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. Turn the BigFooty Blues.
Good evening, big footy folk, neutral listers, and my boss Kathy, and welcome to the 2015 BigFooty Blues Podcast, episode number 11. I am ShanDog, your host tonight, and with one half of the BigFooty Brangelina Cinderella story, not the boxing one, HBF, as well as the girl-voted Kyrgyzstan's most popular independent Carlton Football Club-related podcaster, BlueBelle.
Oh, guys.
Completely true. I looked
Good
that
evening,
one up
everyone.
on the internet. So, how's everyone going, recovering from the weekend? Is everyone's TVs or Carlton memorabilia still intact, or what?
I'm still angry.
Yeah.
I've actually almost gone past anger to the point of I know it's bad, but it's not that I don't care, but on Saturday you just sort of just knew it was coming. So I sort of was well prepared for what was coming. So I'm just in the state of just whatever, really, at the moment.
Which stage of grief is acceptance? We've reached that point, have we?
Yeah,
I don't think
I
we'll
think
ever accept it, will we? Seriously?
No. But look, hey, we'll do a quick wrap of some Blues news.
Blues News.
So, after the horrible game on the weekend against GWS, have you guys seen Malthouse's message to supporters?
Yeah. Saw it
Yep.
tonight.
He did say in there, I'll just read from a quick transcript here. In his weekly message to Carlton members, Malthouse said, whilst it's important to blood fresh talent, it's equally important to strike the right balance and have the best 22 run down the race. Doesn't seem to have helped last week, but okay. Malthouse says his priority for Carlton's younger players is to try and teach them the right way to go about their football, and we'll continue to promote our kids, but we'll also continue to develop them as best we can before we bring them in and expose them to these sort of games. So, that, I guess, in defence of the play the kids argument, I think after the game against GWS, that makes us now, we have played the most of players on our list of anyone in the comp at the moment. Is that right?
I think you said 35 players so far to date or something.
Yeah, with Matt, it's Matthew Dick, isn't it? He played his first game just on the weekend?
No,
second.
against
Yeah.
Kilda, I think, yeah.
Right, so yeah, 35
Correct.
players. I suppose we are getting them out there.
I think and I think a lot of the board was of the same opinion, was that I just don't know how Mick and the club can justify dropping Nick Graham after one quarter of footy. It just boggled my mind how they could reach that decision. And then, guys like Boakhurst and Wiley, Buckley, just play them. Yes, they made mistakes, but they're always going to give you 110%. I just don't see why the club will come out and say that we're in sort of rebuild mode, and then a few weeks after saying that, they drop the kids and bring in like a lot more experienced players. It just they're really sending mixed messages out to the supporters.
Do you think it was them trying as hard as they possibly could to get a win against GWS, who up until recently people have thought anyone on their day could beat them?
Look, I think so. I'm not sure about what you guys think, but it kind of smacked that maybe Mick was sort of tapped on the shoulder and said, look, we really need to win this week. So he's brought in as many experienced players as he could, but it just didn't work. And I just don't know where the club goes to from here. They sort of making two statements in terms of rebuild and then playing older players. So I'm not sure what the next step is.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I've been to a lot of footy, obviously, and I can't remember a more poor performance in the whole, life of my footy career. It's just, there was no structure, kicking backwards, sideways, the crowd booing. I've never actually heard our crowd boo our own players before like that. Like, even in the dark days, we stuck fat and whatever, but it was horrible. Like, our players are stagnant. They don't work hard for each other. They're like a bunch of individuals running out on the field. There's no talk on the ground. It's just, like HBF said, I don't know where we go to either from here. It's just one of those situations where it probably needs a big clean out. And I'm talking from the top down. When
you watch them live, we're such an easy team to play against because we basically almost start from the back and we tend to like pin ourselves into like the back pocket or the back flank, and we try and work our way out from there.
Yeah.
And we just can't do it. We don't have the confidence or the skill to be able to do it, and it's just so frustrating.
What we're actually lacking compared to other years is that link man between the forward line and the back line. Like, we used to have Hendo and Wadey rotate. Even Jeff Garlett and Betts used to lead up at times, and there's just nothing. There's no movement. I can't remember us being this bad. I really can't.
I reckon we saw a game at the Gabba a few years ago, BlueBelle, that was equally as poor.
Oh, I reckon Saturday took the cake for me. In the whole 26 years I've been going to the footy, that was the worst. It really was. It was the worst.
Well, so is it only up from here then?
Mate, we can't go any further down. We're at the bottom. The worst thing is I can't see us winning another game. I honestly cannot see us winning another game.
Yeah, it is a long season though. Still a long way to go, and a lot of changes that could possibly still happen, as much as it does bring me on to the next topic here. Article from The Age. President Mark Lejudice has come out again and clarified that nothing has or will change. Mick Malthouse will coach our football club for the remainder of the season. A lot of people have been saying, we've got the poll on the Malthouse thread on BigFooty, asking people whether they want to see him sacked now, coach out the rest of the season, or some other options as well. Do you guys think that the decision to wait until the end of the season is actually them making a decision and taking a stance? I see a lot of posters saying, the club needs to make a decision and make a call on him. Is he staying or is he going, sort of thing? Is that middle ground not enough of a decision for you guys, or can you sort of see the merit in that and say, well, this is the club taking a stand and saying this is what we're doing? Well,
personally for me, I think they need to take a stand now, because I think the longer he's there, the more damage that will get done, and it'll be a longer recovery. Our players have nothing left. They've got no confidence left. They've got obviously no faith in the game plan, no faith in each other. I think they need to make the tough call now and get him out. I know it's going to cost us, and I know it's the third coach in 8 years, but they have to do something, because if we keep getting smashed the way we're getting smashed, it's going to be a longer road to recovery.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to get him out as quickly as possible. The only thing I will say to that, and this is more sort of plain devil's advocate, is that we're only 7 rounds in, and I can't recall off the top of my head the last time a coach was sort of sacked this early into a season. So I just wonder if they might wait till after the bye and maybe wait till, maybe round 13 or 14 or something like that, and then make a decision.
6 or 8 games out from the end or something.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the only thing I can sort of think, which is what the club might be thinking as well. Maybe just not this early.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if we can judge anything from history, that's generally what happens, isn't it? So, yeah, fair enough.
I'd put Laidley in now and go on the hunt for the best coach and not rush to the decision. Get the best man for the job. We rushed the Mick decision. I mean, he was available. They jumped on it because they didn't want to miss out. And 3 years later, mate, I've never seen us this bad. Well,
do you make anything of the rumours that have been going around about John Worsfold already being spoken to? In fact, some people have even suggested that he's already, had a handshake agreement that he'll be taking over. Is that not the same thing that we just did with Malthouse?
It is, and I would hope the club wouldn't do that. I would hope that if the club was going to go out and look for the right person, that they wouldn't do it sort of whilst Malthouse still coaching. They'd actually go out and do their due diligence and go and speak to everybody and see who the best person is for this job. So, yeah, I really hope they haven't done that.
Oh, God. Me too.
No worries. All right, well, on a happier note, let's move on to the pre-game... sorry, no.
I was going to say, what's going to be happy about Friday night?
Well, let's do it then, the weekend wake.
This is the weekend wake.
Alright guys, well, on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, in a complete train wreck that I unfortunately couldn't tear my eyes away from, Carlton was defeated by Greater Western Sydney, 19 goals 21, 135 to 9 goals 357. Goals for Carlton, Judd 2, Menzel 2, Everett, Wood, Yaren, Casbolt and Bell with singles. Greater Western Sydney, Jeremy Cameron kicked 5, Treloar 3, swag of other guys got a couple and one each, including a defender, Patwell. That was fantastic. Best listed for Carlton was Judd, of course. Zach Tui, Ed Curnow, Sam Rowe, Everett and Murphy. For Greater Western Sydney, Cornelio, Shield, Treloar. Geez, wouldn't that be nice in our midfield? Cameron, Mumford and Bug. Injuries, Patrick Cripps was actually... he was a late out, has a tight calf. Hopefully that's not a lingering issue for this Friday night. He was replaced by David Allard, and Mark Murphy had his nose smeared across his face by a stray Carazzo arm. Did anyone see the replay of that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Yep. And we got a free kick from it.
I know. That's the best piece of umpiring I've ever seen.
At least the umpires are on our side.
Really, high contact. I'm pretty sure in the laws of the game, Carazzo made high contact with another player. It should have been a GWS free. So, and Ryan Griffin hurt his knee. I'm not actually sure how serious that was. Haven't looked into that. But, yep, David Allard came on for Matthew Watson in the third quarter, and, gee, didn't he look pretty down on himself on the bench. He was obviously quite keen to make an impact finally getting back into the side. And, yeah, so, look, I guess I'll open it up with what went wrong.
Well, everything went wrong.
Where do we start? Seriously, where do we start?
Look, I'm going to be really brief. The best thing that happened about Saturday was the fact that I wasn't there, that I actually stayed at home.
HBF, you need to get behind him. Come on.
And I watched it on the couch. But BlueBelle, I actually wanted to ask you a question, as you're the only one of us that was there on Saturday. Did I hear right that when Matthew Watson was subbed off that he was booed? Is that right?
No, not that I heard, and I was on the interchange side. So the only booing I heard was in the first quarter when we started kicking backwards.
Look, there was probably that much booing going on. It could have been easily confused for booing him off. We were just doing something crap at the time.
I didn't hear that at all, and I actually haven't seen the replay because I refused to watch it. So I heard about him and how he reacted when the camera was on him on the bench, but I haven't seen anything. So I feel for him. I do. Even though he's not one of my favourites, but look, it's sad. I mean, he's probably realised now that his AFL career is over. So.
Well, if it was a fair and just world, that game should be essentially completely wiped from memory regarding his sort of output and form, because, I mean, you can't judge a forward coming in for his first AFL game in quite a while, I mean, barring the one he played last season, on a team that just had, where are these stats? 32 inside 50s for the whole game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty harsh as a collective, I think, on BigFooty on Jones, and he's had better service than that. So what does that say about the opportunities that Watson's had there? That was a horrible game to come back into, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I tried to make the point in the game day thread that, even someone like a Buddy Franklin would have struggled to get a kick with the way the ball came in on Saturday. And Watson, I don't think, look, he didn't get a lot of the footy, and that's fair enough. And, he'll never be our best player. But, look, he competed. He tackled when he had to tackle. But the delivery was either over his head or bounce meters in front of him. And I don't know what people expect him to do when the ball gets delivered like that to him. Look, I would not drop him this week. I bet you he gets dropped, but I wouldn't drop him.
Yeah,
this
I
week.
agree.
I'd
I think
give him
it'd be a
another
horrible
go.
decision if they drop him.
Yeah. They would absolutely destroy him if they dropped him this week. Leave him in. Look, we're not going to beat Geelong, so leave him in. Let's see if our midfield can improve. I mean, the midfield is really where all the fingers should be pointed, and just see whether he can, get a kick next week. It might do wonders for him to know that he's, getting another chance, and who knows. But it would be pointless dropping him this week.
He just looks lost out there, though, guys. I mean, he's not the only one, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Have you seen any Northern Blues games this year, BlueBelle?
No, I haven't.
Okay, there was a game down at Sandringham a couple of weeks ago, and he played really well. Appreciate that the opposition was different and that, but he reads the game well. He leads well. He's actually quite quick on his feet as well. So, and we know what his kick is.
No way.
Yes, way.
He's the slowest, but
he's not agile, but he can get up some speed.
He can, yeah. So that's why I just think the poor guy. I just think I'd love to just see him get another week or two. Just if we can just get some better delivery into the forward line. The problem is he's coming up against Geelong's defenders and then Sydney's defenders the week after. So, I mean, just give him a go. That's all we want is just for him to get a go, bring the kids back in and just see how we go.
And realistically, he was the second forward. There was Casbolt and him, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so,
correct.
If Hendo comes back, I mean, it'll be a straight swap, I would have thought, but interesting.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is whether Cruiser comes in or not. I mean, he's had 2 weeks now, so
I reckon they'll recall him back.
Yeah, I think they might as well.
Would be a bit of an injustice, but I can see it happening.
I look at Watson, I look at kids like Graham and Buckley and, the like. They're different players, but, who do you see in our future moving forward out of those three? I mean, I don't see Matty Watson fitting into our side.
Yeah, right now, probably not, no.
Yeah, I'd just persist with those that, that are going to be there. Because, let's face it, there's going to be a big clean out. Mick's already started that. We're feeling the brunt of it now. There's going to be more to come. So, yeah.
But look, going back to the actual game, and you guys touched on it a little bit earlier with regards to the structures and the way that we're moving the ball. I think it's just been absolutely patently obvious to everyone that the game style that the players are trying to play is either not known to them well enough that they can do it instinctively and work together as a team, or it's just a terrible one that isn't working. I mean, I was reading for so long we've had people on Big Footy talking about how Mick's game plan isn't working, or he can't get through to the players or anything like this, and the players don't know what they're doing. That's what we've constantly had said. And for so long, I've been thinking to myself, well, that's just a ridiculous thing to say. Who in their right mind would say that? They're professional footballers. This is what they train to do. They talk about it all week. They do all of these sessions to try and figure this stuff out. But I've got to admit, I think I was wrong, and everyone who has said that is completely right. There's absolutely no team cohesion in there, and that's, I think, one of the reasons that we're looking like the players aren't putting in effort. It's not that they're not trying. It's just that when you've got 6 blokes, we're trying to kick it out of defensive 50, and 6 or 8 people are in the midfield staring at each other going, who's supposed to run where? They're not moving. They don't know what to do, and it looks like they're not trying at all. There's got to be something changed soon. The coaching staff has got to figure out what it is that they need to change about the way they're going about things in order to get our ball movement up from what is VFL level. Maybe not even at the moment.
Not even. We'd struggle to beat a VFL side at the moment.
Yeah. Damning statistic against GWS. That was the first game, and it was round 7. That was the first game all year where we've had a transition that resulted in a goal from a kick-out, where that used to be one of our strengths.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. I think I was listening to Andy Marr on SEN on Sunday, and Carlton was obviously what everyone was talking about it, and I thought he made a good point. He mentioned that if the club has already decided that they're not going to go with Mick for next year, and I think it's probably fairly obvious to everyone that they're not, I think maybe the club should tap him on the shoulder and say, look, Mick, we're not going to go with you next year, and we just want the players to play. Don't worry about structures and don't worry about going around the boundary line. just let them play. Just let them run and gun like they
I
used to.
agree.
Yeah, strip the
And
game
let
plan
them-
right back or something.
Yeah,
Say, look,
just let them play. We've got nothing to lose. We can't go any further backwards than what we already are. And
Yeah.
if we can start getting some confidence back into the players,
Exactly.
it's going to sort of help us for next year. I mean, just
Yeah.
put the queue in the rack for this year. We're done and dusted. And I thought, I was listening to it in the car and I'm nodding furiously away thinking, yes, do it. Bloody do it.
the people in the car next to you thought you were listening to Duff Duff or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mebby thought I was having a seizure or something. So
No, but look, that sounds like a fantastic idea to me. Why wouldn't you at this stage where, finals are not a chance, even if they were, why would you bother?
Yeah.
Absolutely strip the game plan back, say, look, other than these core basic things that we want to keep, with the way that we play the game, take it on, go through the middle, create space and movement and sort of play to your strengths.
Absolutely. Instill some confidence, like you said, HBF, because it's at an all-time low, and it's kind of what we did in 2013. Mick stopped playing his game plan and, we made finals, yes, by default, but we were an attacking side again. It's exciting to see, similar to what Richmond did yesterday against Collingwood. They stripped it all back and just went out there and had a crack, and look at the result.
yeah, definitely.
All right, well, turning the attention just to a couple of individuals in the game, did anyone actually stand out to you guys as having a game worth a pat on the back at all? Juddy, yeah, he was good. Bearing in
Once
mind we had...
again, carrying the side, bloody hell. I hate to see us without him. It'd be horrible.
Yeah. So, bearing in mind we had Matthew Dick playing his second game.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with him.
Yeah, as was I, actually. He seemed to use the ball well, was pretty composed overall for a second gamer. You take that every day of the week. Jason Tutt was also singled out by the coaches having a good game. I'll be honest, I didn't really notice his influence too much. Did you guys see much of him or think much of his game?
I did a little bit in the first half, but not after half-time.
Yeah, 23
He turned
touches.
the ball over a bit. Did he turn his disposal efficiency wasn't very good, was it?
No, 56.5.
Yeah.
But how much do you trust that stat? Andrew Carazzo's was 93.7 for the game.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I must have been
Jeez.
getting him confused with someone else.
I actually thought Sam Rowe did okay, even though he had 5 kicked on him. I didn't think he played too badly, given
Oh, yeah,
how the ball
absolutely,
was
yeah.
coming into the forward line for GWS. So
That's true. He made a couple of mistakes, like dropping the mark.
True.
That's
True.
That's frustrating.
He's under
But
that much pressure, though.
correct. The ball
Yeah.
went in there 80 times.
80,
so
80 times,
There you
just
go.
in case this is not clear. 80 inside
80,
50s.
32, that's disgraceful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
look,
that's not good.
realistically, I think our backline has done pretty well for us to not get, 180-point scores against, really.
Correct. Really, you should have lost by 20 goals, not 13.
Had GWS kicked straight, was it 19 goals, 21 or something?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's 40 scoring shots to, what was us, 15 or something? So,
12,
Well,
9-3.
well,
You're being
9-3,
generous,
sorry.
HBF.
To put it into perspective, Eddie Betts and Jeff Garlett kicked a higher score than Carlton on the weekend.
yeah.
Let's-
Yeah, I'm glad Mebby's not on here tonight. Otherwise,
Yeah.
she'd be cutting loose, I think.
I will say Tom Bell, Zach Tui, Chris Yaron all had pretty good games. It was nice to see Yaron. He took the game on a couple of times and ran through the middle. Obviously, we didn't get much of an opportunity to do it, but and he was fired up too, actually.
He was.
It's good to see, to be honest. I'm glad he didn't give away any silly frees or get himself reported or anything, but fire in the belly, I'm more than happy to see that. So, there were a few takeaways, I guess, that we could say were good. Casbolt kicked straight again. Let's try and get him the ball a little bit more.
That's it. Just look for him. He's a target, at least. We've got nothing else. Look for him.
All right, let's, before we go on to the pre-game pep talk, we'll do a quick review of the Geelong game. HBF, probably the first time this season we'll start talking about this sort of stuff. Our resident, there's a way to say this that doesn't sound funny.
You can
Underage
say,
watcher?
Draft watcher, I don't know.
Draft watcher, yeah. Underage boy watcher doesn't sound so great.
That's what I used to call you.
But so you're going to check out this weekend Vic Country, Vic Metro?
Yes, I am, yeah. A nice early start for me Sunday, 11 o'clock start down at Geelong. So I'll be getting up nice and early. So, look, I haven't seen much of the TAC this year. I've probably only seen a handful of games. So, but look, his name's been mentioned a few times already on the board. Jacob Wiedering from Dandenong. So looking forward to seeing him this week, and hopefully a couple of the father-son prospects in Bailey Rice and Jack Silvani are going to play this weekend as well. So hopefully I'll have a bit of a report next week. And but yeah, for the championship start this weekend, both divisions, Division 1 and Division 2.
Brilliant. We'll look forward to that one. This Wiedering kid, from all reports, seems like a very talented young guy. So being in the box seat, we'll have to keep a close eye on him, I think.
Yeah.
What kind of player is he? HBF? I don't know anything about him.
He's a 195 key defender, but he's highly, highly skilled.
It doesn't come in handy. That'd be great.
Definitely. It's the top end talent in this draft's pretty good, but it does fall away a bit sort of after sort of 2025. So if we can load up on some picks in the top 20, depending on what we do at the end of the year. But yeah, there's some good kids in this year's draft for sure.
Awesome. We look forward to hearing that then from you. All right. Well, let's go on to the pre-game pep talk.
Pre-game pep talk.
All right, guys. Well, this Friday, I'm sure everyone's really glad to see us on TV Friday night.
Oh, God.
No.
The ratings are going to plummet over the next fortnight. But anyway.
Yep.
They sure are.
Yeah. Well, we are going to be taking on Geelong at Simmons Stadium. Is it still Simmons? No.
No,
We're playing
it's
at
at
Etihad.
Etihad.
That's right.
Etihad.
I was going to say, don't do that. I'm going to Etihad,
My
not Geelong.
apologies. Yeah, don't. Anyone who just booked tickets or whatever to go to Geelong, don't. So we're taking on the Cats at 7:50. I believe that's my time. Might be. I'm not sure. Don't worry about that. Ignore that.
Melbourne time, 7:50.
7:50. I'm going to edit that out anyway. Don't worry about it.
Shane, you want to start again?
Yeah. No, we'll carry on. It's cool. So it's 13th taking on last. The Cats haven't been fantastic this year, though. A percentage of 84 at the moment, with not too much of a better points for than us at the moment. I'm just looking on the AFL website. 555 points for. We've got 522, but we leak like a sieve, and that's where the problem is at the moment. So, look, it's very early in the week, guys, but have you got any early thoughts on who you'd like to see in terms of ins and outs or anything in particular? I know we've already touched on the sort of game style that we're talking about, but yeah, how do you think we're going to match up against the Cats?
I have no idea. I really don't. Look, all I can say is that I hope Mick and the club reconsider what they did last week and bring the kids in. I believe Nick Graham was best on ground again for the Northern Blues, so I'm not sure what more he can really do to stay in that senior team. Hopefully Cripps comes back after his calf. Whether sort of Hendo or Jamo or Simpson or whoever's fit, not looking forward to this game at all. I'm not going. I'm going to watch it on the couch again. Can't see us winning even if we started on Thursday morning. So Geelong by a gazillion.
Very disheartening, isn't it? Yeah, look, I'll be there because
Sucker for punishment.
I am every bloody week. But anyway, look, like HBF said, I think, I don't want to rush Cruz back, but let's see what he's got. Hopefully, what's wrong with Simo? I haven't even checked. What's the injury? Hopefully he can come back because we really miss him and he's run out of the back line. But,
calf injury listed as a test for the last game.
Okay. Yeah. Look, we should get some players back, but I'm with you, HBF. Nick Graham has to play if it's all about rewarding kids. And from what I heard, he was the best on ground on Saturday afternoon. So bring him back in. Hopefully Cripps can get up. I don't know how bad his injury is, but... yeah, look, anything's possible. I mean, that was pretty optimistic before ShanDog with only 5 goals behind them in the tally for points 4. But like you said, the problem's down back. So it'll be good to get Jamo back if we could because Hawkins will just run rampant, I think, on on Friday night.
It's been some interesting
and
matchups between Rowe and Hawkins, actually. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to
Oh,
see.
God.
The worst thing, they could stretch us really bad. Like, they could put Harry Taylor and Lonigan up forward as well if they really wanted. So, look, I think our midfield has to get on top. And look, it was really disappointing on the weekend because our midfield, believe it or not, has led the AFL in clearances all year. So they got smashed on Saturday night, but hopefully they can live for this game and give Levi Casbolt first opportunity, given he's the only real target down there. But yeah,
I think there's going to be some tough omissions from the side that we just had, considering Cruisers, I would say, pretty likely to come back in, you'd think now. They've just had the 2 games in the VFL. Lockie Henderson was listed as a test for the previous game, same as Jamison. So there's a good chance that those 2, Cruiser and perhaps Kate Simpson, would come back into the team. I don't think anyone would have too much argument with that happening. I mean, they are senior players and we do want to see the kids, but they are our good senior players.
Yeah.
As far as the younger ones go, I would definitely love to see Nick Graham in there. I think that's general sentiment around the boards. Kieran Byrne might also be in the mix, depending on how he goes this week, to come back in. And geez, it'd be fantastic to see him and Yaron playing off the same backline.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so look, obviously it's a bit early to sort of talk about the makeup of the team, but all those sort of guys come into the team, and I reckon we'll come away with a 10-goal win.
Jesus Christ. Can I have some
Come on,
what you're
man.
smoking, mate? Seriously.
All right, look, guys, thanks very much for rolling in, and we'll leave it there. So good night, HBF.
Good night, everyone.
And good night, BlueBelle.
Good night, everybody. Come on, Blues, fight hard.
Yeah.